So friends, today in this video, I'll be comparing the most powerful and beautifully designed digital interfaces in the Canadian banking industry vis-a-vis the Indian banking industry, which gives an immense power of mobility to its users. That is the UPI in India and Interac e-transfer in Canada. Starting with the UPI, that is Unified Payment Interface, it was designed by the NPCI authorities, that is National Payment Corporation of India, in the year 2016. So it's a real-time payment system wherein the money is transferred between the two accounts on real-time basis. It includes two types, one is peer-to-peer, other is peer-to-merchant. So nowadays people are banking with various banks to leverage the multiple benefits which the banks are offering. So this situation has actually cluttered their mobile phones with a lot of mobile banking applications. So UPI is the only interface which gives you the liberty to add all your bank accounts under one roof, under one platform. Although the UPI facility gives you a lot of options to transfer money, but the best and the fastest way is to transfer it to the virtual payment address, which is called as VPA. So how does this work now? Now suppose a user has 5 different accounts with 5 different banking organizations in India. So what the user has to do is first to download the UPI based application given to you by a scheduled commercial bank or a digital bank. The user has to ensure that spellings of the name in all the accounts are correct and the number attached to the accounts are same. The user cannot add in his or her mobile number in any other account like the account of the spouse or son or daughter, otherwise it will give you an error. After that, the user has to add all the 5 bank accounts in the UPI based application, which is actually tracked by the UPI interface with the help of the mobile number. The best part of the technology is that you do not have to add in multiple details that includes the account number, the IFSC code, the bank name, branch name, because as I told you, it is auto-tracked by the number which is registered with the account. And in order to make a transaction, an essential piece of instrument which is to be added is the debit card linked with the account. So that means if you are adding 5 bank accounts to the UPI based application, you will have to add in 5 debit cards which will help you to make a transaction. So after adding in all the accounts, the system generates a VPA, that's a virtual payment address. It actually looks like an email ID, but it's not an email ID. So it is generated with the help of your phone number or your name. The extension tells you about the organization like PSB is Punjab and Sindh Bank, Paytm is again a digital wallet company. So friends, what is this VPA actually doing? The VPA is actually masking your sensitive details, that is the account number, IFSC code, branch, bank. Now all the accounts are actually connected to the same virtual payment address, that is the VPA. So the user just has to choose the default account from which the money will either be credited or debited. So moving ahead with the payment, the user just has to know the beneficiaries, the payee's virtual payment address, that is the VPA. And he or she has to choose an option that is pay via VPA. So we just put in the virtual payment address and the payment is done. The payment is actually secured by a 6-digit UPI PIN which you have to set up. It actually remains common for all the applications. So through this interface, you can also send money and you can also put in a receive request. So I would also like to tell you that the UPI interface also supports the QR code, that is a quick response code, through which the payment can be sent just by reading the QR code of the recipient with the help of your camera. That is one of the reasons why the German ambassador was so surprised when he used the UPI based interface in India to pay a street vendor. So friends, just like the UPI services in India, the Interac e-transfer services in Canada is one of the most fastest and convenient ways to send money to someone within Canada. It is managed by the Interac system of the Canadian authorities, which is also known as the Financial Intelligence Unit of Canada. It was launched in the year 2003. So for sending money, the user just has to log in into their mobile banking interface or their, the online banking, that is the web services, add in the pay by adding his or her mobile number or email ID through which the money will be transmitted. Just like the UPI in India, you do not have to add all sort of details that includes your account number, SWIFT code, transit code or stuff like that. The mobile number or the email ID has to be registered with the recipient's account. Now there are 2 ways to receive the money. Either the recipient has to set one of his or her accounts in auto transfer mode. That means whenever he or she receives the funds gets auto deposited in his or her account. The other way is, if your account is not selected for an auto deposit, the sender has to select a security question. and an answer has to be decided. So the sender intimates the answer to the person who has to receive the money, and the person, while receiving the money, has to answer that security question. Afterwards, the interface prompts the receiver of the money to select any one of the accounts in which the money will be credited. So the best way to do it is registering different email IDs with different bank accounts, and the limits are actually fixed. It is actually $3,000 for a day. That is a 24-hour limit. It's actually not for a day, it's actually 24 hours. For example, I sent some money at 11 a.m. in the morning Eastern time. So next day after 11 a.m. in the morning Eastern time, my limit gets renewed. And for a week it is $10,000. And for a month, that is a 30-day limit, hovers between $20,000 to $30,000. Now friends, drifting back to the UPI services in India, although the interface has been designed by the NPCI authorities, regulated by the Reserve Bank of India, but I must tell you that limits are set by the banks functioning in the Indian economy, which can range between 50,000 rupees to 2 lakh rupees, depending upon the banking organization with which you are banking. And again, comparing it with the e-transfer services in Canada, so a person using the e-transfer services in the Canadian banking industry has to download multiple applications to again send or receive money. And I must also tell you that the UPI has gone global now. It has entered various countries. So sitting here in Canada, I'm able to use the UPI services. I'm able to move my money from one account to other account in the Indian subcontinent. So friends, this was all about the UPI services in India versus the Interac e-services in the Canadian banking industry. I'll see you in the next vlog. Take care. Bye.